that, I want to thank Outer Wilds for that incredible musical performance. Crash is coming right up. Alf, yes, that Alf will be joining us. And we also have Day of the Devs, produced by Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. Look at a ton of interesting, progressive, artistic, independent games across the entire game industry. You'll see first look trailers, brand new footage, and
why hello there, my Tanukers. I wanted to give Jeff Keighley there a chance to talk. So the Crash Bandicoot 4 gameplay reveal is about to happen.
With the reveal and first look at Crash.
It's been leaked already, and the leaks were true, and the box art was shown off. And I didn't even know this whole Summer Game Fest thing was I didn't even know about this until yesterday when he made a post about Crash 4. My brother is supposed to be joining me. I think his computers must be updating or something. He'll probably call me. That freaked me out.
I've got an extra special package.
What's funny is the actor in that suit can't see because he has to look out the mouth.
Geo Fef Keg Legs.
Keg legs.
Jeff
I'm going to call him that now.
Come on out.
Not this again.
The subtitle is "It's About Time."
Live stream right now.
A great subtitle, very meta.
Always crashing my important shows.
Womp womp.
Let me tell you, it better be worth it.
Sitcom laugh.
Crash, I really don't want the dirt that you have on Cortex.
No. This is the Crash 4 trailer.
For real?
For reals.
Well, it's about time.
Exactly.
He said the subtitle.
Crash Bandicoot, you banished me to the past. But all it did was give me more time to plan your doom.
Oh, Neo Cortex looks weird. He looks kind of younger. That's a new design. Licensed music. Oh no. New masks. So yeah, this is definitely a traditional type Crash game, very reminiscent of the original trilogy. It's Toys for Bob doing this, right? Not Vicarious Visions for some reason. I don't know why they wouldn't just let Vicarious Visions do it. But these are, I don't know if they'd be reusing many assets. Obviously, the character models are different. Personally, I think the art direction for the Insane Trilogy by Vicarious Visions was perfect. And there wasn't really a need to change it from that. But I can appreciate them changing it because they want it to be more than... They want it to be different than just the remakes.
Have you beaten this clown anyway? 3. Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
Why do you need skins for a
There's the big news.
single-player
Crash
game?
For a brand new Crash game. It is coming this October. And right now, I am joined by Paul from Toys for Bob.
It is Toys for Bob.
About the brand new Crash game. Paul, we have been waiting for so long for something new from Crash. Of course, Activision has done some amazing remasters of the Crash trilogy and CTR.
This looks really good.
This is a brand new Crash game built from the ground up.
That's right. It's hard to believe, but it's been over 10 years since we've
Built
seen
from the
this
ground up,
movie.
so they're not using any of the assets from the Insane Trilogy?
Delighted to,
Seems like a waste.
Finally unveil this secret that we've been sitting on for a while. It's the brand new Crash 4. It's about time, and it's a play on the fact that we've been waiting for so long, but also it's a game that's literally about time.
Yeah, like I said, very meta.
Yeah, I want to get
has a
into it
double
because
meaning.
The trailer is filled with so much information. I mean, you know, Playable Neo Cortex, Coco, Crash, but
Playable Neo
curious,
Cortex.
What, you know, you guys
Must have missed that part. The hype was the internal hype was just too much for me to pay attention to everything.
With the new game, there's I'm sure so much trepidation about like what's going to be a worthy, you know, follow on, calling it Crash 4. How did you guys approach this? Like, what kind of game did you want to build?
Yeah, I guess the first thing is we asked ourselves, where did we want to start? And though technically this is the 8th game in this series, all of the fan reception that was coming out of the Insane trilogy, we wanted to go back to the original trilogy and start from that. We're deliberately calling this Crash 4 because we want to key it off of the original trilogy that was developed by Naughty Dog. And that was
that's the sense I got for why they called it 4.
And so that's where the events are going to key off of. We're starting right at the end of that when Dr. Neo Cortex, Entropy, and Uka Uka have been banished to this distant planet, and they finally found a way. After many fruitless attempts, they found a way.
Kind of looks like the Coral Highlands from Monster Hunter.
In doing so, they've torn this gigantic hole.
And that's a solid art direction.
And exposed the fact that there's a multiverse. So it's going to be up to the Bandicoots, Crash.
It's a bit more comic than the Insane trilogy. The Insane trilogy had a bit more of a photorealistic look.
Quantum masks.
The gameplay
like you could
style,
see Crash's fur in Insane trilogy, not in this case.
Crash in 2020, how much of it is, the more linear, classic Crash levels, and of course now, like, people wonder, like, is it an open world Crash game? How are you doing it? Like, tell us about balancing.
That looks just as linear as the first 3,
which is certainly not broken. We love it. Versus the tendency to do, new styles of gameplay. Based on the trailer, it looks like you're being kind of still faithful.
Even
to
has the crazy
the
death
original style of
animations.
Crash versus making it some big, 3D open world. But is that correct? Like, how did you approach the actual style of the gameplay?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think what we've heard was
cool side-scroller part.
Found that style of gameplay to be really refreshing to return to.
Reminds me of the GBA ones.
And when we observe some of the other games and platformers and how they've evolved over time, you're totally right. They've gone to a place where they're a little bit more open in nature. And as a consequence, the challenges and things that you interact with are a little bit more sparse and spread out. It encourages exploration, and maybe there's a little bit more focus on...
I'm assuming all these different masks are going to provide some kind of gameplay gimmick.
Classic Crash gameplay, it's dense and it's focused, and it's really the streams of hazards and the challenges, the platforming challenges, they come and there's almost...
Imagine they give him a pill-shaped hitbox again.
How reliable it is. And I know that for me, when I
they wouldn't do that.
And I understand
it's only in Crash 1 in the Insane trilogy. Well, I mean, it's only an issue in Crash 1 because
flow state, when you understand that
the game was designed around him having a rectangular hitbox, but they had to make it uniform.
How are you doing that? Is it kind of like by level, or how, like we saw Coco and Neo playable in there? How does that work sort of in the scheme of the gameplay?
So Crash and Coco,
he has a slide. He has a Mega Man slide
at any point in time, and they share the same moveset. Over the course of the adventure, you're going to encounter some new friends, some familiar faces, and you're right. There's going to be some new playable characters. We're teasing today Dr. Neo Cortex. He's got a completely different moveset from Crash and Coco. So where the Bandicoots kind of barrel through and they've got the ability to spin and slide and belly slam, Dr. Neo Cortex is he's a little bit more of a cerebral character.
Cerebral.
He's a mad scientist. He's got inventions, and he relies on his intellect. So he's got a ray gun.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
And that ray gun has the ability to transmogrify hazards and enemies into platforms, and he can choose between changing them into a static, solid.
I'm obviously going to have to rewatch this trailer a few times.
Bouncy platform that gives him access to higher elevations. So his gameplay and the levels that are built specifically for his moveset is going to be a completely different flavor. It's going to be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more cerebral. Yeah. And I think players are going to have to be a little bit more thoughtful about when to encounter a hazard, whether or not to change it into a platform.
So obviously, Neo Cortex would have to have his own specific levels. It's not as if you can just replay through the same level as Cortex. I'm assuming that would be harder to do. It would be harder to design the levels for both characters.
And also, you mentioned the masks.
Like, it would be harder to design a level that works with both characters than just making the characters or the levels character specific.
Over the course of the adventure, they're scattered across the universe. You're going to have to rescue them from the clutches of certain bosses, both familiar and new. The quantum mask, 2 of them that we're talking about today, is the time mask and the gravity mask. And
yeah, he puts them on like a suit, so they are a gameplay gimmick.
They've got a lot of personality. They've got their own names and their own voices and their own powers. So the time mask, her name is Kapunawa. And when Crash uses Kapunawa, he's got the ability to slow down time to a crawl. So for obstacles that are beyond,
It's probably
just
level
way too
specific
fast to
again.
interface with,
It reminds
at
me of the
normal
wisps
speeds,
from
he's gonna be
Sonic
able to slow
Colors.
things down and
How
then
each
get
sort of
past those
power-up is an
obstacles.
entity.
In addition to that, he'll be able to get past nitro crates, which have traditionally been a one-hit, one-kill type of thing. But with the power of time, he's going to be able to slow things down, trigger that explosive, and then get out just barely before that explosion obliterates everything in its path. The second mask is the gravity mask, and his name is Ika Ika. So when Crash dawns on Ika Ika, he's going to be able to flip the direction of gravity and walk on the top of ceilings, walk upside down underneath platforms to get past impossible obstacles.
I'm really excited to play this, and again, I was playing Crash back when the original PlayStation first came out, and you know, Activision's done a great job.
Cut that down pretty close.
But to have a totally new game, I think, is what everyone was hoping for, and you're bringing it to life. So congrats for doing this, and thanks for doing it even from a work from home situation. It's awesome to see, and can't wait to get to play it later this year.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure, and I think it's an exciting time for games, and I'm so glad that we could reintroduce Crash, a new version and a new adventure at this time.
Oh, it has a release date already, October 2nd.
We've got Day of the
This
Devs
year
coming up shortly, but right now we are going to introduce you to Summer Game Fest tech correspondent. He is joining
So
us.
I'm probably going to, I'll probably watch some more of this to see if it's going to have a certain level of density of game reveals and stuff, because I don't, like I said, I didn't even know about this summer Game Fest thing. Why is Alpha on here?
I've spent hiding from the United States government.
Oh, anyways, though, my point.
Stay-at-home gaming tips for
My point is that I'm just going to upload this, and then I might be watching some of. But after I stop the recording, I'll probably watch some of this to see what the heck this is all about. Or I might just watch the rest of it later after the whole thing is done. But anyways, I have no real complaints about that. That looked pretty solid. It seems like a really solid direction for the game franchise and where it should be going. Obviously, they're now returning to the game's roots in terms of its game design, and pretty much all they need to do is use the game philosophy, or the design philosophy of the original trilogy, and just add new gameplay gimmicks to keep it fresh and interesting, which looks like that's exactly what they're doing with the new masks that are kind of like the wisps from Sonic Colors. But it seems as if each level will kind of be centered around one of the masks. You know, you'd have like one level with the gravity flipping or the time stopping, things like that. And I still think it's bizarre they're not using Vicarious Visions when they did such a great job with Insane Trilogy. Must be some sort of weird business interworking there that they're not really talking about. Unless they have said the reason, in which case I haven't heard of why. But it's also kind of weird they're not using any of the assets from Insane Trilogy. Seems like a waste to me, but obviously they were able to make it look really good without it. And I like that it looks similar enough to the Insane Trilogy, but different enough as well. What is this? Avatar, what's this?
This world is in trouble.
We can't let this happen. They need our help.
Wait, Avatar and Smite? What? And Zuko? What? And Korra? What? They're putting... Is this actually in Smite? Like, actual characters? I thought they said Smite, but I was wondering if I just misheard it or something. Anyways, this isn't what the video is supposed to be about. The video is supposed to be Crash 4. But, okay, that was unexpected. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. Do let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you're excited or not about Crash 4. I will definitely be playing it. Probably on the Twitch channel as well. I'll put the link to my Twitch channel in the description if anyone wants to check that out, and I will see you snookers later. So, bye for now.